and welcome to Futureport Youth 2022, everyone. I'm super excited that you could all come here today, and on top of everything, I'm super excited that I get to host it. My name is Tilly Lockie. I'm a motivational speaker, a little bit of a cyborg, you might have noticed, with the glowing arms. And I had the absolute privilege of getting to speak here last year. Although it was virtually, like some of you guys, I had some exams that I had to be dealing with at the time. But now it's brilliant because I get to be here in the flesh. And I get to ask my questions to so many incredible people who are going to be here today to answer your questions. And yeah, basically tell us what's going on right now and what could be potentially happening in your future. It's going to be an incredible event, like I said, an incredible lineup, and we just want it to be as interactive as possible and let you guys get as much information as you possibly can out of today. Please don't hesitate to ask any questions. And now just to explain why we do this event and why it's so important, I'm going to invite up Martin Halechko to tell us all of this.
Thank you, Tilly.
No
Thank
problem.
you. Oh, I'm also super excited to be here and also to have you here.
Thank you.
Because, as you said, you were speaking last year, but
yes.
Maybe one thing you don't know is that when we had the idea about this event, we were thinking how to do it, when to do it, if we do it. But then when I found out about you and I saw your videos on YouTube, I said, okay, let's do an event and let's have Tilly as the host and moderator. And today it happened, last year it couldn't. And that's because you really embody what this whole event is about, how technology can help humanity, how can help us to make the world better, to go further. And this is the sole vision and mission of this event. We want to really show a very positive vision of the future, but this positive vision will not happen only by itself. It only happens if we take an active part in that. And this is what we want to show you today. Many examples of great people who do just that. We want to inspire them, inspire you, and inspire them with you. But we want to inspire you with what they do and what kind of role models they could be also for you. And with that, I think we should a little bit talk about what we will see today.
Yes, totally. So we've split it up into 5 parts, all equally as exciting as each other. You might have your own preferences, but the 5 parts include number 1, which is Welcome to the Future.
Yeah, it's actually a part where we have one speaker from the US, and he will tell us something that is basically setting the whole stage for today. And this is about how technology, innovation, experimentation is important for what we do today and how to go on into the future.
And that's from Mike Pell, who will be joining us in just a little bit. Part 2 is super exciting. It's Future of Energy. And
this topic, as you know, it's super hot today. Everybody's talking about energy. Everybody's talking that we are in energy crisis. Everybody's talking about how to make energy sustainable. And we want to dedicate this one block to this topic and see what we can do to make the world more sustainable as well.
Totally. Part 3 might excite a couple of people. It's Future of Space, and I can tell you that some of the speakers today definitely give us an insight into that we never have without them, so we're super grateful.
Totally. Space is exploding as a field, as a business frontier, as an area where there's so much happening today that we thought this must be something we talk about, and we have some super exciting speakers coming up for you on that.
Part 4 is Future of Art and Design, where we've got a little bit of VR. We've got my own little talk in there too, so I'm looking forward to giving that. But that's all about the future of art, the future of what we can create, which is super cool.
Yeah, probably if you've noticed, but technologies like AI, 3D printing, VR, what Tilly said, is really changing this field, and we want to dig deeper into that.
And finally, we leave on a deeper note, which is how do we sustain the future? Part 5, sustaining the future. How do we keep it all ethical? How do we keep it sustainable and not get carried away with ourselves?
Yeah, totally. We only can do good with all these amazing tools if inside we have the right values, we have an orientation, and we know that we do it with our heart. And this is what we want to point out in the 5th part.
Cool, can't wait.
All right, so this is what awaits us today. And before we start, I have one more important thing to say, because this event wouldn't be possible without our partners. And we have 3 great partners today that helped us to build this event. If I can have the partner slide there. Yes. So first and foremost, I would like to I would like to thank the city of Prague, because Prague is supporting us since at least 5 years already. They have been really crucial partner for our events, not only because they are happening in Prague, but because of all the support we got from them. Then we have companies like Etnetra Activate and Etnetra Motion, which have been also with us for many years, and they help to make these events better, smoother, looking nicer, and they've been also a partner along many years now. And last but not least, I have to thank also European Union, who co-financed the event this year. So these are the partners. We did a little gift for them and also for the speakers, and we planted a lot of trees. If we can get the second slide there. So that's for the partners. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. The event wouldn't be possible without you, and without further ado, I think we can continue with our program.
Yeah, totally. So we've obviously got an awful lot of incredible...
Thank you.
Way! Standing ovation. Yeah. Oh, well, we are making it a priority to hype up absolutely everybody who walks onto this stage, because they know what they're talking about, and they've come here today to educate and inform us all about that. So we had the idea to keep everybody involved, that every time a guest comes on this stage, we're going to give them all a standing ovation, right, Martin?
Yeah, we'll do a standing applause for everybody who comes on the stage. You can decide also when he leaves, or she.
So
let's
we're
train
just going
that,
to
right?
rehearse that right now. So Martin, if you want to be the guest.
No. Should I?
Yeah.
You be the guest. Okay, I'm the guest.
Yes, ready? So then, I would like to welcome Martin Halechko. Woo!
Oh, thank you. I think it works.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you very much, Martin. See, that was fun, wasn't it? Do you feel good about yourself, Martin?
Oh, very good.
Yeah, see, it's perfect. So then I feel like it's time that we get into this event properly, and I want to talk to you a little bit about how we're going to make this as interactive as possible. We're using a website called Mentimeter. You might have heard of it before, and basically it's a website where we're going to ask you some sort of questions. You can respond on your phone, and we're going to get any responses up, any questions we can respond to, and we can interact with that. So here it is on the screen right now. If you go to the website or you scan the QR code, then you can get up the questions of the day, and you can share your thoughts. I feel like I'm in everybody's pictures right now. I don't know. Do I smile? So then once everybody's got that up, I think we can put the slide on of the first question of the day, which is a pretty easy one. Which technology did you use first this morning? Yeah, lots of mobile phones. This day and age, honestly, guys, me too. I understand. VR, that's exciting, first thing in the morning. Mobile phone, smartwatch, the rise of Fitbits. Definitely see that a lot. Toothbrush, hi, hello. Coffee maker, that is a good one. Could have done with that this morning. There you go. That's everybody's responses. Lamp, cool. It's always good to have some light. So that's going to be happening all throughout the day. Any questions you can get involved with and you can answer yourself. And that'll be fun just to have a say, you know? So yeah, we'll have a lot more of that throughout the day. But for now, I think it's time that we can move on to our first speaker of the day. His name is Mike Pell, and he's a Microsoft Garage director and envisioneer. Mike Pell is recognized as a world-class designer and industry thought leader in the field of next-gen visualization and smart information. He has a unique perspective on how to combine business, design, and technology to create breakthrough experiences, and he's currently leading the Microsoft Garage in New York City, and he's been kind enough to join us here today. It is actually 2:30 in the morning for him, so he definitely deserves a round of applause, and he's going to be joining us via Zoom. Do we still do the standing ovation? Totally, let's do it. He's on Zoom, he can't see it, but let's pretend he can. Let's all please stand up for Hack Your Future by Mike Pell.
Hey. Good morning, Futureport. I can see you and I can hear you.
Morning, Mike, how are you?
I'm fantastic, Tilly. Thank you so much for having me.
That's all
You know, I just wanted to say it's an incredible honor for me to be here with all of you. This is the thing that I love doing the most, right? Talking to people about not only the future, but about how they're going to be part of it. So thanks for being here, Tilly.
That's totally okay. It's my privilege, and we're so grateful you could join us, even at 2:30 in the morning. That's dedication.
You know, the future never sleeps.
That's true, that's true. Well, we're going to let you get on with your speech and let us know what you have to say.
All right, fantastic. I'm going to take you through a lot. So, hey, everyone, my name is Mike Pell. I'm from the future. I have a lot to share with you this morning. I know you may be thinking, like, really, are you from the future? It's true. And I'm going to tell you exactly where we're all going to end up, and it's because of you. So with that, let's get right into this. I want to talk about hacking your future. But you might ask yourself, why do I use the word hack? Isn't hack a bad term? Actually, it used to be, right? It meant like breaking into things. But we use the word hack now to mean going fast, just trying to get something to work in any way you can. So I'm going to tell you a lot about how you are going to be able to hack your own future going forward. First of all, the future is not written. It really isn't. We can all make the future exactly the way that we want it to be, and that's going to be by using our imaginations. The most important thing, if you don't remember anything else I say today, is that nothing is impossible, right? We're only limited by our own imaginations. And even more important, it is never, ever, ever about the technology. People are always the key. I know that this conference is going to talk about a lot of incredibly exciting technologies. We're going to talk about AI and space and energy and amazing things that we're doing in the world of sustainability. But at the end of the day, it is not the technologies. It's always, always the ingenuity of people that matter. So why am I talking to you? Well, that's a long story. I got to tell you, I've had a lot of things to do in my career, most of it on the edge of technology, creating business, new design processes, always having fun. And in the middle of all of it has always been this idea that technology can aid people in doing what we do. Way back when, on the left, I actually invented what we call the stylized font menu. I invented what is now known as Acrobat and PDF, right? I've been very fortunate in my career to work on a lot of different things. I was there very early in 3D. I've worked in what now is called the metaverse, but I started in the first metaverse back in the mid-90s, believe it or not, where a bunch of crazy kids quit their jobs and thought that putting 3D in a web browser was a good idea. Well, the truth is it still is a good idea, but we were way too early. Way back then, I was thinking a lot about how do we work in this 3D environment? How can we do things we've never done before? And over time, I finally arrived at Microsoft. I started working in a part of Microsoft called the Garage, which is a worldwide innovation program, where I learned so much. In just a few years, I wrote 2 books about what's now called the metaverse, Envisioning Holograms, which is a design textbook that helps you think about how to design for this new world in the age of smart information. Again, a tale told from the future about how artificial intelligence and what we call now metaverse combine to help people communicate in new ways. Finishing a new book called Visualizing Business, where all of you will be able to see the things that are invisible. So what is hacking at its heart? Like, why am I telling you that you need to hack your future? Because at its essence, getting from A to B as fast as possible is at the heart of hacking, right? This is what we're all going to be doing. You probably already do this to a certain degree, but we have to be able to set aside process sometimes and just try to figure out how to go as fast as possible. When I talk about innovation at Microsoft, this is generally what I show people. This is thousands and thousands and thousands of people worldwide, incredibly excited because they are hacking their own futures. They are taking their own ideas and their own passion and they're making it real. We do this event, the Global Hackathon, in a giant way, but at its heart, it's about taking your ideas and your passion and doing something with them. I work in a very small team, but we're all around the world. So I've had to learn a lot about different cultures, about how different people care and have perspectives. We love to see people just roll up their sleeves and jump in and do stuff, right? We've learned a couple things along the way I want to share with you. First of all, I need you to understand this very, very deeply. Everywhere you go in life, please understand and remember, good ideas come from anywhere and anyone. Every single one of you has great ideas. You just need an opportunity to get them out there and to share. We know that from doing the world's biggest hackathon the last 9 years, diverse teams, meaning not diversity of race or gender, diversity of background and life experience always contributes to having better hack results. And finally, I don't think anybody likes to fail, but the truth is you don't learn a thing unless you do. So we like to see people just try things. I don't like the term fail fast because I don't think anybody wants to fail. But you have to try. You got to put yourself out there and be willing to make some mistakes and learn from them. We run this gigantic event every year that I've learned a lot from about how to move ideas forward quickly, which I think is at the heart of what we're doing today. We have the most amazing speakers for you to listen to are going to tell you about how they've taken their ideas with their teams and their passion and move them forward in amazing ways. We do that, every year at Microsoft. What we learned is that there's for us, a very simple method. You ideate, you have some ideas, you go hack them into existence in some way, make them real enough to test. You validate your ideas, and then you go find a sponsor, somebody to help you move that idea forward. But what we learned, which is very important that I'll share with you, is you've got to look for sponsorship very early when you're trying to hack your future, when you're trying to move your idea forward. Go find people to help you early on. Don't wait until you're at the end and go, ta-da, look at this amazing thing I made. Because typically people are not as open as if you include them at the very beginning. Another important part about hacking, going from A to B as fast as possible, you may not think about this, but it's always better to start at the end. I found that if you can imagine, visualize, and sort of make real for yourself what you're after, it makes it so much easier because you're going to have a gigantic leap to make at somewhere in that process. Either the technology doesn't exist, you don't have the right people, you don't even know if it's possible. But trying to start from the end is going to help you to get there faster, visualizing, making it real in your own mind. A few things, now I'm going to tell you, we got to demystify a few of the things people have been talking about the future because they make them more confusing than they need to be. Number one, we're going to talk about the metaverse, Web3, and NFTs. Super quick. When anybody ever says metaverse, don't think about that. Think about the word 3D web. Just think about 3D, metaverse, 3D. That's what it means. That's at the heart of it. When they talk about Web3, right? Everybody uses the term Web3. Don't think about that. Think about decentralizing, meaning instead of there being a few companies that provide many or most of or all of the services you use, there will be many companies that do a lot of different things. So Web3 is all about decentralization. And finally, NFTs. Don't think about the word NFT. Think about community, the creator economy. That's what NFTs are all about. Okay, so let's go super quick through this thing about the metaverse because as part of your future, it's going to be integrated into everything you do. Everybody knows what the metaverse is, right? It's like you put on a headset, you see a bunch of cool holograms, but it's super confusing, right? There's all these terms and people are talking about blockchain and AI and Web3 and crypto. They're confusing the issue. Again, right? When people think about the metaverse, it is not that. Okay, it's not Ready Player One. Sorry, got news for you. It's not going to be that way. It's going to be done in a very different way that's very natural. We're going to take what we've already learned about the web and about mobiles, and we're going to evolve it into the next version of the web. The metaverse is just an evolution of the web. It's made out of all the same stuff, all the same protocols and technologies. It is exactly what we do today, but it's in 3D, it's spatial, it's immersive. It brings new capabilities, but people confuse this, right? It is not this new thing that you have to go off to. The metaverse is an evolution of what we're already doing. Right? You all know this, right? Augmented reality, mixed reality, virtual reality. That's essentially what the metaverse is all about. You're going to hear more about this today, but just super quick refresher. AR, you're looking through a phone or an iPad. Virtual reality, you're in a headset, you're completely immersed. Mixed reality, you put on a different kind of headset where you can still see the real world and holograms mixed in, right? Kind of looks like this when you're using a mixed reality headset, right? You're in the real world, you see the real world, but there are things mixed in. This is the kind of metaverse, this type of mixed reality environment that many of us will experience. So what is this all good for? It's good for exactly the same thing that the web is good for, right? Getting information, our news, our entertainment, spending money. It is the same stuff, right? Web, metaverse, don't be confused, right? The future is not this completely different thing. It is exactly what we do today, but in interesting and exciting new ways. So let's just talk about social collaboration. We're all kind of, in this thing for using Teams and Zoom. And, we've been doing this for 2 years now. What's going to happen differently in the metaverse a little bit is we're going to mix avatars in. We're going to mix in holograms so that you're not just using video, right? We're able to talk to people in different ways, and these avatars are going to be something that we get to make look exactly the way that we want them to, right? For the first time in human history, we can really show up in the ways that are authentic to ourselves. This is going to be incredibly exciting. This is part of the future for you. The environments that we collaborate in, right? Collaboration is so important to all of your futures. If I could tell you, one other thing that's incredibly important when you go off, whether you're in school or you're off, working in your career, people have to get great at collaborating. We've all had to learn how to do this the last few years, how to work in hybrid environments. But it's going to be integrated into our everyday work and our school, right? We're going to be in these virtual environments, not with headsets, just on our laptop, just on our mobiles, right? It's not going to be this new thing that you have to go do. It's just going to be integrated in very everyday ways for us. And finally, the way that we shop, the way that we spend money is going to be affected. Like right now, you want to buy a jacket, great. You go to Amazon, you check it out, you press the button, it's done. Very efficient. What the metaverse does for you is it helps to bring things to life in a new and interesting way. That's a good advancement. Another thing we can do that's super interesting is we can just type in something like, maybe I'm going to type in the word fiery dress. And of course, I'm going to see a search result, of all the things I can buy. But the thing that's different, your future that's starting right now is that these dresses didn't exist a few seconds ago. They were auto-generated by artificial intelligence on the spot. They don't exist. They're completely digital. Doesn't mean that they're not incredibly beautiful and valuable, but that's something that's new. It's happening all around us right now. It's going to be an integral part of everything we do moving forward. We all know that gaming has been exactly what people are talking about when they talk about this metaverse, right? This new future. Well, we've already been there, right? Whether it's in Minecraft or Fortnite or Flight Simulator, like any of these things, they have all the properties that people are talking about: commerce, community, being able to form teams, being able to do things together, with your friends and colleagues. That's what true collaboration, that's what, commerce and community feel like. Let's talk about remote collaboration a little bit more. This is part of what we're going to be experiencing every day. For you, this is going to be so normal that you're not even going to think about it. Being able to work, just like in this image, with real people. You see on the far left, there's two gentlemen that are wearing headsets, but on the right, you see an avatar, and over a little bit more in the center, you see another avatar. These people are working with a full-scale car chassis that feels like it's in the room with them, but it's not. You can walk around, you can look at it from any angle. This is going to be so normal for you that, again, we're not even going to consider it different. It's just going to be how we work. And whether it's for engineering, learning physics, or collaborating in some creative pursuit, whether it's music, or doing something with, social studies, we have to be able to bring people and things together in this way. And we can. None of this is science fiction. We're doing all of this right now. being able to mix, not only video generated holograms with real people with more cartoonish holograms. It's this kind of environment where we can collaborate no matter where we are, using our phone, using a headset, just being in the room with nothing. This is the future for you. Let's talk for just a second about cryptocurrencies. The only thing that I think you need to pay attention to about cryptocurrencies is that it enables something called microtransactions. For decades and decades, we've been trying to get to this. We've been trying to get to the point where you can buy something that's less than €1 or less than $1. You can't right now very easily on the web. You just can't. But in the realm of cryptocurrencies, you can actually do this now. You can buy something for a few pennies, right? If you're in the US, I can read an article, I can subscribe to, like getting some feed for less than $1. That's incredible. And it's going to open up all new possibilities for content creators, for business, and for social activities. And finally, one of the most important aspects of the future is that our individuality is going to be on display all the time, right? We all show up looking and acting the way we want to look today in the real world. Online, we've been doing that in interesting new ways. But you've all noticed recently, right, that people are starting to show up to meetings in a different way. They're totally comfortable in their environments, whether you're working at home, in your apartment, in your building, at school, at work. People can now show up and be the people that they want to be your authentic self. And we're starting to respect this more and more, to the point where it's okay that you show up in your next meeting as your avatar. People will start to accept the fact that we just have to let people be themselves. There's a lot of business norms, there's centuries of business norms in place that have people thinking, that the future has to be the way that it always has been, but it's not going to be. All of you are going to bring this, into the world in your own way. That's what's important about respecting our individuality going forward. So let's go back to talking about how you hack your future. One of the most important things I've found is that you cannot be limited by other people's either expectations or experiences. You have to bring your own thoughts, your own passion, your own design to how you want to move forward in your career. There's some technologies that are going to enable you to do that. So let's get into that now. AI-based assistants. This is one of those things where people get a little nervous, but it's true. Artificial intelligence is helping humanity to do things in ways that we haven't before. It's taking a lot of the manual tasks and things that are very tedious and automating them. It's helping us do things that we're just not good at in some ways: monitoring, sorting through tons of data, being able to spot insights in very minute situations. Artificial intelligence will start to evolve to the point where it's an active assistance to all of us in many of the things that we do. It already happened. Look at what your phone does for you. I used to travel around the world a lot. I used to park in parking lots, take a photo of where I parked. My phone now reminds me where I parked, right? It's an active assistant for me. And the form that these assistants take will be different. Today, if you talk to Siri or Alexa or Cortana or any of our assistants that are baked in, they're either faceless or they're bots, but they don't look like this. These metahumans, this new technology, will embody artificial intelligence assistants. These may be your new teammates. These may be your new manager. These may be your new collaborators that let you do things you never imagined, but they're made out of artificial intelligence. Yes, they're infused with some of our thinking and some of our directional guidance, but they're going to be your assistant, and you're going to help to form where they go moving forward. Data visualization is a huge part of your future. I'll tell you why. For the longest time, people have had to imagine what numbers mean, what text means. You've had to form your own mental models. We use charts and graphs to try to depict how these things work, but that's really not the real way that we have to look at information. The real way that we're going to look at information is like this. Information will be alive. It's going to be ever-changing. It will show you what it needs to show you itself. No longer will we have to spend so many hours or days or months creating these custom animations. Through artificial intelligence, machine learning, and incredible new animation technologies, we'll be able to see data come to life in ways that we never have before. Again, this will be the most common way that all of us use information and data. It's no longer going to be just charts and graphs. We'll be able to see how these things work. It's very exciting. It's a field that I work in quite a bit, and I know that this is the way forward for all of us. That's why I love sharing this kind of thing with you. This, again, is not some science fiction vision. This is what we're doing right now to help all of you be able to hack your own future. And finally, we're all used to using, whether it's spreadsheets or word processors or, like our web editors to do things. But moving forward, it's going to look much more like this. Our data and information will be integrated into the environments that we work in. So next time you think about using Microsoft Office, think about that. I guarantee you that's where we're all going. We're going to be immersed in our data. We're actually going to be part of it. Just like you saw in that short clip, data will be all around us. It's not going to be trapped behind a screen. It's not going to be, part of a chart. You will actually be inside and living with your data every day. And it's how all of us will figure out how we can move forward. The information is going to show up in the environments that we work in, that we learn in. It's going to be something that's tangible, that we're going to feel like we can actually reach out and touch, we can manipulate. In this particular image, this is a sketch I did depicting how two people who are not together, working in a hybrid way, can actually collaborate with something so real that it feels like it's in the room with them. And again, this is not some science fiction thing. This is what we already do today and what all of you will be doing with us. Let's talk about the neuroverse. This is a term that I coined to talk about the layer that's underneath the metaverse. It's a layer of data that comes from sensors, from your watch, from your ring, from the camera and the microphone on your laptop or your phone. The neuroverse is full of all this information about emotion. We do this now through these goofy looking headsets, right? These are sort of capturing all of the, the brain activity, electrical impulses, what's happening in the synapses. But what we're doing with that is we're figuring out how to map it into a way that we can actually visualize this. We can see what's happening within the brain. It's starting to look a little more familiar. Like you've seen pictures that, sort of look like this, where we're trying to capture different regions of the brain, the emotion, what's happening when you're thinking, when you're acting, when you're talking, when you're feeling. The neuroverse is something that's going to help all of us design better experiential things, like being able in a meeting, or in a creative environment like a concert, being able to see and feel people's emotion in a very interesting new way. The neuroverse is, yet to be defined. All of you will be part of this grand experiment that helps us to become more human by being able to feel more deeply. This is what's happening now in terms of brain science. We're trying very hard to get to that point where emotion and feelings are just as important as any other part of data in the things that we do. So my closing thoughts for you about hacking your future is think about all those pieces of technology I just showed you, right? They're amazing things. And then remember that the future is bright. We have an incredible, amazing, just indescribable future ahead of us. And it's all up to you. It's up to your imagination and to the things that you want to do. So again, technology is never the point. It's always about the people. It's about you. It's about your feelings, your emotion, your connection, in the way that you want to move forward. I'm really easy to find online. Mike Pell, remember, I'm from the future, so I should be that easy to find. I would love to talk to you about all of this. And if we have a minute, happy to talk to Tilly or anybody else about hacking your own future. But we're going to have an amazing day today. We're going to have so much fun. I can't wait to be able to see all the other presenters today and to learn things about all of our shared future. Wow.
Thank you so much. Honestly, what better way to kick off the day? You did that, Mike. Thank you.
Thank you for having me again.
That's all right. And the one thing that I really held on to myself, and I feel like you really portrayed this very well, is the fact that all of this crazy technological stuff is happening, and especially when we come to events like this, and we're going to hear from so many people today, it might be really easy to feel like you're drowning in that a lot, all the developments and the future. But you're right when you say that everything is inflicted by people, and we're making these developments, we're creating these inventions. And doesn't that just tell everybody in this room and everybody listening at home or at school that you have that power and you have that potential? You can tap into that at any point. So I want to open up the floor to anybody who has any questions. There's also loads of schools who are joining us via Zoom right now or Google Meet. And this is the time where you can come forward and ask any questions that you might have. So if we open that to the Zoom classes. Hey, hello.
Hey, everyone. Good morning.
Can you wave at us if you can hear us? Yay! Here's some waves. Some people can hear. That's always good. Oh, okay. Some people are gone because they're on break, apparently, which is fair enough. Fair enough. But okay, I'm going to start with my question, Mike, or a question that somebody's just sent in, and that is how this will affect dark web and deep web, because it's already an anarchy of online world. Do you think that'll play much into the future?
Well, people choose to be good or bad, right? People are people. The technologies we put out there aid in some ways, they monitor in others, so I would say that it's people's nature, again, that's going to determine how all these things play out. We've released technologies as an industry that we should have maybe thought a little deeper about, as far as the implications, what you can do with them, how you can use them for nefarious purposes instead of good. So I think it's on us as a tech industry to really think more deeply before we release new technologies about how they may be misused. Often the industry has said, well, it's just technology, we don't make it bad or good, that's people. I think it's our responsibility. It's every single one of our responsibility, everybody listening, everybody in the room, to think about how what you're working on can be used, in ways that you didn't intend, and try to design in ways to check that moving forward.
Definitely. And somebody wants to know, Mike Pell, did you always intend on being Mike Pell from the future? Or was there sort of a job you wanted to do as a kid? Or was this just that?
Well, I always wanted to be an astronaut, of course. Like what kid doesn't want to be an astronaut? I found that I just had vision through my whole life. Like I showed you that slide of the things I've worked on in my career. For whatever reason, I've just always been very fortunate to find myself on the edge of design and business and technology breakthroughs. And so for me, it's just sort of natural. One thing I'll say is that being from the future isn't always a good thing, right? Being too early with ideas doesn't get you anything. It's better to be on time, right? It's better to have ideas and to work on things that are relevant right now so that you can get the kind of support and the kind of enthusiasm that you're looking for.
That's very wise words. I think we all hear Mike Pell from the future and get so excited. I want to be from the future. I want to be from the future. But we're making the future in the present, and that's the most exciting thing. Okay, and another question we had is, are there any technologies you fear because of their impact?
Well, that's a great question, but I don't fear technology. I fear people's dark sides. That's, again, for me, it's not the technologies. It's that the people either fail to realize what can be done with them, or people just choose to do bad things. So I don't have any fear of the technologies. I think that we need to keep a really close eye, as do many other people, on artificial intelligence and how it's being integrated. We can't just sort of turn it loose and let it go with no consideration as to where we may end up. Because I think we've all seen that sci-fi movie. It doesn't end well.
Yeah.
So, we do have to make sure that we keep an eye on what we're doing.
Definitely. So any other questions? Yes?
I have a question. How will you prevent people from living in a metaverse all the time? Like, I'm afraid that people will stop living their real lives, since it would be easier to be themselves in the metaverse.
Mm-hmm. Well, so you've seen the movie WALL-E, right? Like, where everybody turns into like blobs and have Slurpees all day, and like that. Yeah, we're not going to do that. I'll tell you why. We've just been through a horrific few years as a society, right? People have realized that it's really important to be connected, right? To have that human connection. Yes, technology can enable things that we have never dreamed. We can travel to places we would never, ever in a gazillion years be able to get to. We can experience different situations. We can work in new ways. We can play and entertain ourselves in new ways. But people, some people, maybe for certain reasons, maybe they have particular physical or mental situations where they feel like they're just more comfortable in the metaverse. I would say for them, if that's how they choose to live their life and they still have some human connection, then that's the way that they choose to do it. But as a society, I can't see us slipping into Ready Player One or the WALL-E future, right, where we're all like sort of hooked up to our brain implants all the time. People crave people. That's the great thing about being human, is we have to be around other humans. It's just part of who we are.
Perfect. That was great. Thank you, Mike. And I think we've got time for maybe one more question here. And it's a good one. It says, why are you so confident the future will be this way?
Because I'm there.
Do you think there's any room for it to not go as you plan?
It's not my plan, right? It's up to all of you.
Yeah.
That's what we talked about. Right? We are all, every single one of us, going to hack our own futures in the way that we want to see them. And it's very, I would say it's a bright and shining and positive future.
That's what we all want to hear, right? That's good news. Great news. Okay, actually, I think we've got time for one more. So if there's any more questions, now's the time.
Actually, I want to ask a question.
Oh, great.
I'll come up. Hi, Mike. Hi, buddy. Where do you find your drive and passion for all of that? Because you are a powerhouse and you've been doing that for many, many years. So where does it come from?
Honestly, it comes from wanting to leave the world better than I found it, right? I mean, I've been through a lot in my life. All of us have been through a lot. And I think that, inside, we just want to help other people, right? I mean, yes, there are things we have to do for ourselves, but at the end of the day, right, when you're done with your life, you're not going to think about the things that you did. You're going to think about the impression you left on other people, right? What did you do to help your friends, your family, and the world at large? And that's where sort of my drive comes from, is wanting to do something that's so big and important that I feel like I did my job. I'm ready to go.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. And I really hope next year we can bring you here also in person.
I'm going to be standing right there next to you, Martin. You can guarantee that.
Thank you, guys. I think this is it for Mike. And
we
should really give him another ovation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you all soon.
We're going to have a short break now, and then 5 minutes time, we're going to come back and we're going to start with our part 2, which is future of energy, which will be good.
Exactly. And one thing I want to tell you guys here, if you have a questions, raise your hand. There are mics around, so people will run to you, give you a mic, and don't hesitate. And the same goes for the people on our streaming you are very welcome to join in. And we have 2 things how you can do it. The schools who are on the Google Meet can just raise their hand, and all the others can use the Menti, which we use at the beginning, to submit their questions. There's a Q&A button. Thank you. See you after the break.